across the 10 minutes that I've worked on it, I've ended up with these big pieces. So right here is a notch that I am going to add these 2 blocks to. These were already sewn together when I bought the quilt from the yard sale. Remember, there were a few that were sewn together. So this will go right here, and I'm gonna sew that in today, and this will go right here, and then that big piece will be completed. I'm not sure how much of our time that will take. And then I want to attach this to this. But see this section right here? It is long, and I can put it right here. And then I think that I'm going to need these last few blocks to finish out the end to make it the size of a full-length queen size bed. So today I'm gonna do these right here. So are y'all working on any 10-minute a day challenges? It's amazing when you set your mind to it what all you can get done, huh? Now, I've been wanting to can some green beans and tomatoes, maybe tomato juice to make things out of later in the winter. But I know that those are not projects that I can work on 10 minutes at a time. I know I need to block out a large amount of time for that, and I haven't figured out if I can yet, and I don't want produce to go to waste. But projects like this that you can start and stop on, you can really feel accomplished. Maybe you need to clean out your garage or storage shed or something like that. Those are projects that you can start and stop on. In your garage, just start in one corner. Just take care of one corner. And then just keep moving across that way. Okay, here we've got these 2 blocks sewn together. I just can't believe how happy my heart feels when that happens. Let me get the big piece and I'm going to sew it in. Okay, so this piece has a notch or a corner out of it. So some of the original stitching had come loose right here where the person making the original quilt. So let me sew that down. I do need to leave just a little bit of edge for the new seam. Okay, so here it's one width. Well, it's actually two blocks wide right here, but this is these are some of the blocks that were sewn together when I got the quilt at the yard sale. So now I'm going to sew across here, like this, and then I need to make this little corner and sew this down like this. Yeah, that's what I need to do. So that will work just fine. Let me go back to where I started from. Yeah, I'm going to sew this across to here, and then there's a corner right there. But I'm wondering, I probably should start where the corner is, because it's inside the quilt and there could end up being a bubble there. So yeah, that's what I need to do. I need to start at the inner seam and come out, because I'm trying to have my uneven edges at the outer side. So I am going to do that when I start here and sew out. Just a minute, I don't have this figured out yet. Okay, when I sew that, then this will sew to this. So I need to, what is this doing? Let me pin this. I can't tell for sure. Okay, so if I pin this like that's a seam, and I pin this because I need to sew across there. Okay, this is the corner right here, and I know I need this sewn here, so I'm going to pin across it like I am sewing a seam. Then let's turn this the right side back out and see what I have. Okay, so there's where that would go together. Yeah, that makes sense now. This is what was hanging on the corner of the sofa over there. This was up, this part was up on the sofa, and this was the area that need filled in. So yeah, that's correct. That's perfectly correct. So here's my here's my corner right here. So I need to sew that. I need to sew that, and then I need to sew this. So what I can tell is when I sew across this, I'm going to get to the end over here, and it needs another section of blocks because this is short. Okay, so let's go back to where I started. And I'm making my corner. Okay, I'm just going to sew a little bit of this right here to hold that, because all the way out here needs sewn. I'm going to just sew a little bit, and then I'm going to come back and get this section that should be finished right here. Okay, let me move the pin so that it will hold better. So now see, I'm needing to make sure that I don't catch any of the blocks, that I have a clear place to sew this, excuse me, to sew this seam. And that's going to work just perfectly fine. I think my bobbin's almost out of thread. Don't run out yet, please. Okay, I'm just going to tie off that seam there. I'll come back and finish that. Now, I'm going to go back to where I originally was working. And I want to see what... Excuse me. So... yeah, now I need to sew. This is right here is where I made the corner, and I just sewed part of it to hold part of it. Now I'm going to start right here and sew all the way across there. Sometimes I just have to look at it like this and reach my hand under and grab it and then pull it out so that I know what I'm talking about when I pull it out. Okay, that's where it stopped, right there. Now I need to sew this. Yeah, that's going to work perfectly. Absolutely perfectly. There we go. Yay, you guys, another whole section. And how much time have I spent? I'm right at a little over 10 minutes. A little over 10 minutes. And I'm gonna finish stitching across here. Then I'll show you this big whole section, and it will be ready to sew to the 2 original strips that I made that are the length of the queen size bed. Do y'all say the different sizes of beds? Do you say twin size, full size, or do you say double and then queen and king? But specifically, I'm curious, do you say a full-size bed or a double bed? I always say full, but I've heard some people say double, and I think that's interesting. I once had some friends who had a large bedroom, and they put 2 queen-size beds side by side up against each other. So their bed was bigger than king even. I thought that was interesting. Now, if my bobbin just ran out, this is going to be sad. Well, it did, from here to there. Okay, I need to refill my bobbin, but what an accomplishment this is. All I have to do is sew that right there when I fill my bobbin, and this big huge piece is all put together, ready to sew to that other strip that I did the original strips. Okay, y'all, thanks for joining along. Let me know what you're working on 10 minutes a day, and also thank you for telling me where you're from. I'm loving that in the comments. And the subscribers are continuing to grow, so I'm excited about that, because when I get to 1,000 subscribers, I'll have more options on going live. Thank you guys for joining and participating in this. It's lots of fun. I really appreciate it. Talk to you soon.